room, and I just want to dispel some of the rumors. Supposedly, this is a small school, and a lot of you talk, and I get that. But we were talking about the game telephone, and they remember how to play it. I remember how to play it. And if the person next to me whispered me a story, and then I whispered it to the person next to me, it went all the way around the room, what are the odds that it would come back to me the same way that it left? Pretty slim, right? Pretty slim. So I don't want you to assume you know what's going on in the middle school just because you're hearing a story second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth hand, okay? Any of you have separate questions afterwards that you want to ask me, and if I'm able to answer them, I will do so. But please don't start feeding into a rumor mill here that something horrible is happening here. It isn't. Part of what we do at St. Mary of the Hills is follow our mission. And you remember what we say every single day is we try to provide you, to the best of our ability, a safe and nurturing environment. Part of that is to bring in speakers like Mrs. Poles, Officer Poles here. She works for the Milton Police Department, and she is the school resource officer. So my intention to bring her here today is to give you a little bit of a wake-up call about the dangers of your cell phones and social media in general. I kind of equate it to when I give my 11-year-old child the keys to my car to drive my car. Absolutely not. Number one, it's illegal, and number two, they would probably kill themselves or someone else. Giving you an iPhone or an iPhone 11, I equate it to that. Some of you are far too young and far too immature to understand what you actually have in your hand and how you're using it. Because whether you know it or not, I know people call each other snitches, and I want that word to go away today, and Officer Poles is going to talk about that. Someone who is a snitch, in your opinion, is somebody who's throwing someone under the bus and telling on each other. To me, it's someone who stands up for what's right. And if somebody brought to me something on social media that was completely unacceptable, and I have to deal with it, that's not a snitch. That's somebody who cares. And that's somebody who's following the rules and know what's right and wrong. So that word is out of your vocabulary. I don't want to hear another word about that. But I'm going to read to you something that I found online. Just think about these 10 things. These are 10 disadvantages of social media. Now, I know we all think it's great. We can talk to our parents really quick if we need to. We can text Mom, made it to the mall, okay, or whatever. But here are the disadvantages. There's a lack of emotional connection. There is no face to look at when you're communicating on social media. It's just words, and words can be taken wrong. There's no social connection. It gives you a license to be hurtful. Some of the things that I have read recently online by students at this school, I dare you to tell me you would say that to somebody's face. If you can't say it to somebody's face, don't hide behind your phone and type it, because it's there forever. It decreases your communication skills face to face. You guys are always looking down, you've got your thumbs going and everything. You could be sitting next to each other, but you're not looking at each other, you're not engaging. That's a problem. It also conveys inauthentic, not authentic expressions of your feelings. It diminishes your understanding and thoughtfulness. It causes you to feel disconnected. It makes you lazy. Now you're going to say to me, how am I lazy? Think back to this last weekend and think about how much time you spent on your phone doing foolishness. Texting, looking up things on Facebook, posting things, taking selfies, taking videos of yourself, sending them to your friends. You can never get that time back. Makes you lazy. It reduces your family time. I know parents who take those phones away the minute the child comes in the room, because a lot of kids are even at the dinner table with their cell phones, sleeping with them under their pillows, I've heard. It causes you to be distracted. Not only day to day, when you hear that ping, it's like Pavlov's dog, ping, I gotta look at the phone. I've seen it, I know it. I'm human too. It causes you to be distracted. And what happens outside of school, and you bring it into the school, causes major distraction for the education that's happening here. So those are all the reasons I believe social media can be a problem, And I'm sure Officer Poles is going to give you a lot more information, but she's really here to help you understand that what you're doing online is a footprint that will stay forever, even if you think it's gone. Okay? So I'd like to welcome Officer Poles to come up and continue. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th?
Yes.
Okay. So 10 is the youngest, or 11? Do we have any 10-year-olds?
10 and 11.
Mostly 11 and to 14? Okay. So I have a 12-year-old daughter. I actually came here to St. Mary's. I was here 1st through 6th grade, and then I went on in Latin Academy and a Fontbonne. But so I did walk through these halls for a short time. And I was in the same position that you guys all were. The difference was is I didn't have a phone. We didn't have technology. I see a few parents in the background over here. Okay, I'll address you as well if you're fine with that. So I just wanted to touch the snitching part first. I've been a police officer here for 20 years. I got hired really young as a police officer in Milton. And the issue with snitches get stitches, that's stupid. I'm gonna ask you a question. What if it was your family member? What if it was your family member that was a victim of a crime? Got beat up, got robbed, right? Shot, got really hurt, seriously hurt, and you know that people witnessed it and saw it. Wouldn't you want someone to step up and say something? You're a victim. Your family is the victim. Not only is the person who actually got beat up or whatever the crime was, but your entire family hurts. Your house was robbed. Everyone is a victim in that situation. And if someone saw that and didn't say anything because they didn't want to be a snitch, you're the one who's going to lose out. You as the victim is going to lose out. No one is ever punished for the crime. So honestly, it's stupid. Snitches get stitches. That saying is dumb, because really if you were the victim and you really took a second and thought about it, you would want someone to step up for you. So think about that the next time you call somebody a snitch. If you were a victim, you would want somebody to say something. Okay? I'm going to start with like bullying. I know you guys have been through the bullying talk 1,000,001 times, but that's what most of the social media stuff comes down to, is bullying. Can someone tell me what is bullying? Yeah, go ahead.
When you're doing something to someone.
Yep. Repeatedly? Anyone else? Yep.
Doing something hurtful to someone repeatedly to lower their self-esteem.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Yeah. Sorry, I apologize. I'm sure it was a fantastic answer. Absolutely. Yeah. Anyone else? No? I'm going to give you the full definition, even though you guys just repeated it to me basically. Bullying is intentional aggressive behavior. It can take the form of physical, verbal, or emotional harassment. It involves an imbalancement of power. Bullying behavior can include teasing, insulting, particularly about weight, height, race, sexuality, religion, or other personal traits, shoving, hitting, excluding someone, or gossiping about someone. So if someone shows up to school with a pair of Payless sneakers. Is Payless store even around anymore? I don't even know. But Payless sneakers, and they don't have the Nike Air Force Ones, and people are making fun of them because of that. That's not cool. That's not cool. Not everybody has the same amount of money. Not everybody's family is in the same position. So that's, and it continues over and over and over again. You just constantly are picking at that person because of the way they're dressed, because of the way they look, because of the way their hair is done. That's bullying. Bullying could cause a victim to feel upset, afraid, ashamed, embarrassed, and anxious about going to school. It can involve children of any age, including elementary school, and even kindergarten. Bullying behavior is frequently repeated unless there is an intervention. So, by law, you have to be in school. None of you are old enough to say, I don't want to go to school anymore. By law, you have to be in this building. You don't have a choice. You do not have the right to make that decision. Imagine waking up every single morning and having that fear and that anxiety that you can't even come to school because people are teasing you. How awful would you feel? You guys, your parents are paying good money for you to come to this school. They're investing in your education. They're raising you to be good people. And you guys are a few 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old kids. You know right from wrong right now. You're not babies anymore. To constantly belittle someone and make fun of someone, that's not cool. But you know that's wrong. You know that's not okay. And you, if you were the victim, wouldn't want that done to you. This is a safe zone. This building is a safe zone. Your house should be a safe zone. Nobody should be, nobody has the right to be teasing you and bullying you when you walk through these doors. Cyberbullying, which is the other piece, because this mostly happens at home, it's dealing with your phones. And it takes place on electronic devices, including cell phones, computers, tablets, communication tools such as social media, texting, chat, and websites. Who's got Snapchat in here? Who's got Instagram? It's okay, you can raise your hand. I'm not looking up your account. Who's got Facebook? Facebook not really cool anymore for middle schoolers. So Snapchat, Kick, TikTok, TikTok. So I need to say this because, again, I've been doing this job for a really long time. I've been a cop for 20 years, but I've been in the schools for 15. I have a 12-year-old daughter. Actually, Christina knows who my daughter is. She is not allowed to have any social media, period. Period. And I'm gonna explain why. Because I know what I did when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. And I didn't have a phone. I made some really poor choices and poor decisions because we're not smart enough and we don't think things through all the time at 12, 13, 14 years old. My daughter is very impulsive. She's a great kid, doesn't get into any trouble. But you know what? As a parent, that's my job to help her stay out of trouble. That's my job as a parent, is to keep her out of trouble and to help her learn to do right from wrong. That's my job. So I monitor everything that goes on in her phone. I pay that bill. She doesn't pay that bill. She doesn't have a job. Again, she's a great kid. She is. But I don't give her that power because I don't trust her that she won't make those decisions. I wouldn't be standing here right now talking to you guys if you guys have never made a poor decision. If there isn't stuff that was already going on. Right? We are impulsive at your age. We all are. I was too. You have a lot of power in that phone. And those social media sites, you're putting stuff out there for the world to see. And we don't always think things through at your age before we put something out there. Okay? People are always monitoring too. There are all kinds of predators that are monitoring you on those social media sites. Snapchat has location, Instagram has location, TikTok has location. They all have location. If you don't shut that off, which most of the time kids don't, any predator can see where you are at all times. There are kids that go missing every single day because of social media sites. Kids that are kidnapped and are never seen again because of social media sites. Check the news. It happens all the time. All the time kids go missing. And to be honest with you, it doesn't get reported enough because it happens so frequently. There was a girl in Lynn that was kidnapped last week and there was an Amber Alert all over the place. She was just walking home from school. She was 11. If you watch the video, she's looking at her phone, walking down the street. Some guy snatched her up and there was an Amber Alert. It was all over the news. Cops all over the state were looking for this 11-year-old girl who just was walking home from school. But she had a device in her hand, and you could see it in the video, and she had her head down and really wasn't paying attention. Not her fault. I'm not blaming her whatsoever, but that's what phones do to us. It makes us disconnected from what's going on around us. We're not paying attention. Okay? Put your phone away. You're walking down the street, put your phone away. Milton, Roxbury, Boston, Randolph, a bunch of different towns here, right?
Yes.
I grew up in Hyde Park, same thing. Walking down the street, they're busy roads, but you never know who's coming up behind you. You never know. Pay attention. Be aware of your surroundings. Going back to the cyberbullying, the difference between cyberbullying is that you don't see the victim's face. When you make these comments over Snapchat, over TikTok, over Instagram, you're not seeing what how the other person feels on the other end. If I walked up to this girl right here and I started calling her a whole bunch of names, I can see her emotions. I can see her getting upset. I could see her crying. I could see, you know, her getting mad, enraged, whatever her emotion is going to be. I walk up to her and I'm hammering her. I can tell. When you're sitting behind a computer, you can't see what the other person is feeling. So it makes it easy to keep going. It makes it easy to keep typing away because you're not seeing what the other person's feeling. But to be honest with you, it just makes you a coward. Because it's stuff that you wouldn't say to someone's face. If I came up to this girl and I started hammering her, I guarantee she's going to get mad and I guarantee she'd step and want to fight me. Right? Probably. Probably. She's shaking her head, right? You're not going to let anyone mess with you. I get that. I get that. I'm not condoning fighting, but I get that. But when you're sitting behind a computer and you don't see someone else's reactions, you keep going and going and going. And maybe someone isn't like you. Maybe someone wouldn't want to confront the person. Maybe someone's a little bit shyer. That person is now internalizing everything that they just were told. They're ugly, they're stupid, they're dumb. You know what I mean? They have the wrong clothes, they live in the wrong neighborhood, they're poor. Whatever it is that they're being told. And now they're internalizing that, and now they're sitting at home and they're thinking, oh my God, I have no friends. This is awful. Imagine that. Imagine being that person that's being told all those nasty things. If you wouldn't say it to someone's face, don't say it, period. It just makes you a coward. It makes you a coward. There's nothing cool about that. With bullying, again, in my world as a police officer, we charge for that. There are criminal charges that happen when you deal with bullying. You start sending messages over and over again to someone. You confront somebody, or you try to fight somebody, or whatever. There's charges in my world. So the broad term for bullying is called criminal harassment. That's the actual charge we use. In the police world, we don't call it bullying. In the courts world, we don't call it bullying. But to break down the charges that we talked about, there's racial and sexual discrimination, assault and battery, criminal harassment, and sexual harassment. If you're charged with any of these crimes, you will go to court. You will stand before a judge. You will be arraigned. You could end up going to jail or to a DYS facility. A DYS facility is just a lockdown area for juveniles. You guys are all under 16, actually under 18, so more than likely if you were to be sent somewhere, you'd be sent to a DYS facility. And I'm telling you right now, it is not pretty. You could be ordered to pay restitution and do community service. It will stay on your record and you will need to explain it every time you go for a job, college, whatever. Anyone want to go to college? Anyone have an idea where they want to go to college? Name of a college? Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, where do you want to go to school?
Southern California.
Southern California. Anyone else? DCU, nice. Anyone else? No idea? You're still young. Yep. Right? Awesome. Strive for the best. Right there. Let me ask you a question though. You've been charged with a crime. You're a straight A student, but you've been charged with a crime. I'm not saying that will ever happen to you, but I'm just saying. You've been charged with a crime. You got in trouble for bullying, criminal harassment. This girl right here, she's A- student, B+, because Harvard, you strive for the best, right? So A-. You're A+, she's A-, but you've been charged with a crime. Who do you think they're going to take first? Not you, her. They will pass right by you. They don't want someone who has a record. Harvard is what, $65,000, $70,000 a year? Can your parents afford that? Do you think your parents could afford that? I'm a police officer. I have 3 kids. I cannot afford to send my kids to Harvard without scholarships. You apply for a scholarship, you got to put down that you were involved, you were charged with a crime. They're going to pass you right over. They're going to say, you know what? We don't want that type of student. We don't want that type of student. She's working hard. She's still getting A's, maybe not straight A's, A-, a couple of B's here and there, but she's a good kid. This girl has never been in trouble before. They're going to take her before they take you. That's the reality of it. You've been charged with crimes. You've been charged with criminal harassment because you were a punk and you bullied somebody. Because that's basically what you are. You're a punk. You bullied somebody and you got charged for criminal harassment. I'm telling you right now, when you go for a job when you try to apply to colleges, when you even St. Mary's and you start to apply to high schools. Because a bunch of you are gonna have to apply to high schools, right? Everybody? Who do you think they want? They don't want those type of kids. They don't want those type of kids. Again, you guys aren't babies. You're old enough to know right from wrong. You have a lot of power in your hands with those phones and computers. Stop. Think about what you're putting in Word, in type, in messages. Think about it. Think about it before you type it and hit send. Would I get in trouble for this? Would my mom or dad be mad about it? What would happen if at school that I got in trouble for this for? What would happen if the police got involved? Do you think this is the right thing? Stop and think about it before you hit send. The thing I always tell my kids, and my kids are very, very close to my grandmother, their grandmother, which is my mother, they're very close. Would you want Nana to see it? Would you say that in front of Nana? No, because Nana probably would be enraged, which she should be. If you wouldn't say it to your grandmother, you shouldn't put it on any type of social media, and you shouldn't say it out loud. Okay? Do we have any questions? No?
A parent has a question.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't know, I came a few seconds late.
Yeah.
I don't know if you went over the topic, but in terms of deleting,
Yep.
is it something that actually gets deleted or can they bring it back?
So everybody has an individual fingerprint. Everyone's fingerprint is different from the rest. None of us have the same fingerprints. The same thing with a phone and a computer. Things that you put that are on your phone, even if you hit send, if I needed to get a search warrant, I could take your phone with a search warrant and send it off to the lab, and I would be able to retrieve pretty much everything that was ever on that phone. Pretty much anything that was ever on that phone. So yes, you can delete it, but it's usually still stored somewhere on that phone that if needed be, I mean, it's in a serious crime, but if needed be, we could go back and get it.
And some students take a picture of it,
Oh, yeah.
and then that's how
Yep.
people
Yep.
find out.
So I'm gonna get to that part of it, but with Snapchat, you can see when someone screenshots it, and then you know what I mean. So you know people are saving it. But things that you post in a blog or TikTok or whatever, people save that stuff all the time, and then they send it off to a ton of people. I wanted to touch on really quickly because some of the older kids in this group. I know 5th graders probably are not doing this, and I hope you're not doing this, and I hope none of you are doing this, but I wanted to touch upon it really quickly. Nothing that you put on Facebook or not Facebook, any social media site is private. A text, Snapchat, Facebook messages, they all, it's never just between you two. But I have had several cases in Milton Public Schools where kids have taken inappropriate pictures of themselves and posted it, or sent it to someone else. So I would say it was probably 4 years ago, we had a whole group of 8th graders, boys and girls, asking, send me pictures of your private area, send me pictures of your private area. You make that noise, but people have asked for that. I ended up having a case where I had 25 9th graders at the beginning of the school year. So they started in 8th, but 9th grade was when we found out. I had 25 kids that were sending inappropriate pictures back and forth. One girl, this one probably got me the most because again, I have kids of my own. One girl said, I just sent it to my boyfriend. I'm sorry. Whoever you're dating in 13 or 14, you're not really dating anyways, but that person is not someone that you're gonna be with the rest of your life. 99.5% of all of us will never be with the same person that we were talking to at 13 and 14 years old. So to make a statement, I just sent it to my boyfriend. What do you think is gonna happen if you guys break up? Where do you think that picture's gonna go? You just sent it to a friend. Listen, you just sent it to a friend. It doesn't have to be like that boyfriend-girlfriend thing. You just sent it to a friend. You got into a fight with that friend. Where do you think that picture's gonna go? How many people? Can someone just raise their hand and say how many friends they have on TikTok or social media? A lot. So let's say, wait a second, listen up. So we could all say probably 200 friends maybe, or 100 friends. How many you say? All right, this girl right here has 1,000 friends. Do you know all 1,000 of those people? No, you don't. No, you don't, right? They're just like acquaintances, or maybe even people you don't ever even really know. But 1,000 people, imagine that picture got out to 1,000 people. And then it just kept getting reposted and reposted and reposted. That's how social media works. That's how it works. You put something out there, expect everyone in the world to see it. You take an inappropriate picture of yourself and you send it to someone, or you ask someone to do that, it's a crime. It's called dissemination of child pornography. You will get arrested, and the other person will get arrested, and you're both getting charged, and those are both felons, and both of you will be charged with a felony. It's a crime. It's a crime. Have respect for yourself. Don't do that. Do not do that. Again, you have good families. You're here at St. Mary's for a reason. Your parents are investing in your education. You have good families that want you to do well in life, okay? But you have a device in your hand, or computers at home, where you have access to do a lot of stupid things. And sometimes we are impulsive at this age. Stop and think. Stop and think about where this picture could end up, how it can destroy your life. Don't hit send until you do that, okay? We're good?
Any parting message to the parents too? Because some of them are going to be watching.
Yeah, absolutely. So my thing with parents is you're paying the cell phone bill. Your kids do not have jobs. You're paying that cell phone bill. Make sure you're checking it. Make sure you're going through it. Know what the apps are that your kids have on their phone. Again, I work in this field, and I've been doing the schools for 15 years. I could sit here for hours and tell you the cases that I've dealt with, and total inappropriate stuff, and people that I've charged. That is why my kid doesn't have social media. I just know the ramifications, and she's a great kid. But she's 12, and she's gonna make poor decisions, which we all did. Know what they're doing, go through their phones, take it every single night, check their text messages. You know, if you start seeing blocks where things are deleted, question them. Question them. Why are they deleting stuff? They're deleting things for a reason, because they don't want you to see it. They've done something wrong, or they said something wrong. But again, they're kids. They're gonna make poor choices. It's our job to kind of steer them in the other direction. So that's my advice to parents. Go through your kids' stuff. Know what apps they have. I will leave my phone number. Call me anytime. I do this all the time, so a lot of the apps are foreign, and they're always changing. They're always changing. Musical.ly is what TikTok is. Just last year it changed, right? Or a year ago? 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
So things are always changing. You know, and I try to keep abreast and all of that. So I'll leave my name and my number and my email, and if you have questions, please feel free to call me. Okay? Does anyone have any questions? Any parents, any students, anyone? Again, you guys are great kids, and I appreciate you listening. Stop and think before you hit send, because you're gonna get yourself into trouble if you don't. Yes?
What about like the robots that, you know, like the bots that just comment on videos and stuff like that and post?
What is it? I'm sorry?
Like there's like these random people, like people that just comment on posts. Like,
Well, that's what I mean. You don't,
like he just say like a nice job or like nice TikTok.
that's obviously people who are monitoring it. You don't know that that's not a 60-year-old guy. How old are you? You're 11 years old. How do you know that's not a 60-year-old guy watching everything that you do? That is, to be honest with you, Musical.ly and TikTok was my biggest issue for my kid. I don't want my kid dancing in like shorts and a tank top and some creep watching her. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't know who it is that's watching. You really don't. You're posting and it's going all over the place. So I think TikTok and again, which was Musical.ly, TikTok was the biggest one for me. I was like, she asks me daily, can I get it, can I get it, can I get it? And I'm like, absolutely not. Because I see what her friends post. Her friends come to my house and they'll show me these videos and I'm like, does your mother know that you did that? Like even just blowing kisses and stuff, you don't know who is watching. There are creeps out there that target you. They're targeting young adolescents, okay? So be careful what it is that you post. Yeah.
So my little cousin, she uses TikTok, and most of the time she's wearing a tank top and short shorts, and she loves TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know how to tell her to stop using it because she's.
That's great that you're concerned though. That's
Yes.
really nice.
All right.
Anyone else have any questions?
Any more questions before we break?
Thank you for being a good audience and
Can
for
we
the
say
great
thank you to
questions.
Officer Coles, please? Thank you, boys and girls. Thank you, Officer Coles. I'm still talking. 1 second, just a sec. I hope you really, really heard this message today. I know you've heard it from me. It's just, I think sometimes what I say, you think it's not going to affect me or whatever. I hope you got the serious message today. It's only because we care and we want to protect you. I hope your parents listen well too. I don't think you need these cell phones. You don't need them. We offer you a phone here to call. You can call your parents anytime you want. There really is no need for all of that electronics in your hand until you're a little bit older, but that's a parent decision. They're paying the bill, I'm not. But I hope they hear the dangers of this, okay? Have a wonderful rest of your morning. And